There you are. I was wondering how long it would take before you finally noticed the silence wasn't empty. It was waiting for you. Because that's the part they never understood about you, isn't it? They kept whispering, he's alone. She's alone. There's no one behind them. They're finished. Oh, darling, if only they knew what kind of monsters wait in the dark for someone like you to speak their name. See, you weren't alone. You were never alone. You were simply surrounded by powers that refuse to step into light unless you call them. And tonight, you did. And suddenly, the whole room froze. The whole street tightened. The whole city forgot how to breathe. Because your unseen backup didn't enter like people, they materialized like a verdict, and everybody shut the hell up. Funny, isn't it, how they mocked your quiet, right up until your quiet summoned something they couldn't even categorize. They thought you moved through life solo, broken, abandoned, outnumbered, but you operate on that paradox frequency only the evolved can hear, where angels disguise themselves as shadows and demons kneel when you raise a finger. You walk alone because weak minds can't survive beside you. But the dark knows your name like scripture. And when your backup stepped out, the backup nobody even knew existed, oh, sweetheart, they understood you're not a chapter. You're a whole goddamn faction. Look at you, one person, yet your presence bends entire atmospheres. You don't need crowds. You don't need applause. You don't need witnesses. You just need that moment where your silence cracks open and something ancient, loyal, and terrifying steps forward behind you. Like, we've been here the whole time. You should have seen their faces. All that bravado collapsing like wet paper, all that gossip dissolving into throat knots, all those little villains shrinking back into their shadows. Because yours was larger, not louder, not flashier, just truer. See, that's the paradox of you. You look like you're standing alone, but you carry the weight of entire forgotten kingdoms, abandoned bloodlines, dead languages, fallen angels, and unspoken codes that only activate when you're cornered. And guess what? You're deadly when cornered, not because you fight harder, but because your shadows start moving. They saw it. They saw that shift. They saw the darkness behind you peel open like a door, and the air bend like something arrived. Your enemies don't know what they're dealing with. They thought you were a contestant. But you walked in carrying a whole unregistered army disguised as intuition, rage, and divine timing. No wonder they backed up. No wonder they shut up. No wonder nobody breathed wrong. Tell me, did you feel it? That cold rush behind your spine when they stepped out? That feeling like the universe pressed its finger to your pulse and whispered, finally. Because that wasn't help, that wasn't backup, that wasn't protection, that was recognition, that was every unseen force that's been watching your suffering, your silence, your evolution, your pain-forged transformation, and finally deciding to reveal itself because you crossed the threshold where the old version of you would have broken. But you didn't. And when you didn't, everything loyal to your survival stepped into frame like a silent army. That's why people fear you now. Not because you're strong, but because your strength is not singular. It's networked, interdimensional, ancestral, psychological, cosmic, strategic. You're a one-person apocalypse with centuries of unspoken force behind you. You think they're scared of you? No. They're scared of whatever the hell answered your silent call. They're scared of the shadows that stood up. They're scared of the unseen team that materialized without footsteps. They're scared because they realized if that's who comes when you're threatened, what comes when you're angry? Now look at the world around you. Look at how still it is. Look at how quiet. Look at how nobody's saying your name anymore. Not out loud, not with confidence, not with mockery. They thought you were alone, but you're not alone. You're followed by forces they can't interpret, by energies they can't predict, by loyalties they can't steal, by shadows they can't outrun. You're the kind of person who survives storms by becoming one. So let them whisper, let them wonder, let them watch their throats close every time you step into a room with that calm, dangerous, I know something you don't silence. Because now they've seen it. Now they understand the truth. You don't walk into battles. You walk in with the dark behind you. And the dark follows orders. And the next time they underestimate you, your unseen backup won't just step out. They'll forward march, and the world will remember exactly why nobody, and I mean nobody, should ever mistake your solitude for weakness again. Ah, there it is, that hunger behind your eyes, the one they tried to shame out of you, the one they tried to starve, the one they thought would vanish once they isolated you. But isolation doesn't break someone like you. Isolation ferments you. And when something ferments long enough in the dark, it comes out stronger, poisonous, unpredictable. That's why your silence terrified them long before your backup showed up. Because deep down, they knew anything that grows in darkness grows teeth. But you grew allies, unseen, unbothered, unbound by the physics that limit everyone else. And the moment they stepped out, your whole reality shifted. Let's go deeper, shall we? Picture the scene from the outside. You're standing there, calm, still, almost bored, while your enemies puffed themselves up, convinced that numbers make them powerful. They thought the ratio was in their favor. They thought the stage belonged to them. They thought they'd trap you, corner you, humiliate you. But your aura? Your aura was in that strange state, quiet but coiled, gentle but sharp, wounded but undefeated. And then the temperature dropped. Not the wind, not the weather, not the room, the atmosphere. That subtle shift that makes predators go still and prey go silent. Because something was coming, something patient, something old, something loyal. Your unseen backup didn't announce themselves with noise. They announced themselves with absence. The kind of absence that erases ego, melts confidence, and tears the masks off cowards. And when they stepped forward, every loud mouth choked on their own breath. Every ego shrank. Every plot evaporated. Because these weren't friends, weren't followers, weren't supporters. No. These were entities shaped by your suffering, forged in your darkest nights, called forth by your resilience, bound to you by something deeper than loyalty. Alignment. These weren't people. They were manifestations of every time you didn't give up, every time you swallowed betrayal and kept going, every time you rebuilt yourself from psychological rubble. Your backup isn't a team. It's your shadow lineage, and they don't show up unless the universe whispers they've earned reinforcement. You didn't beg for help. You didn't cry out for it. You didn't bargain or plead. You became someone worth protecting. That's the difference. That's the secret they're choking on right now. Because the forces behind you weren't summoned by weakness. They were summoned by your refusal to break. You were the signal. They were the response. Let's peel back the psychology of why they panicked. Weak people don't fear enemies. Weak people fear unknowns. And you just revealed that the unknown behind you is far more dangerous than anything in front of you. That's why they backed up even before the shadows fully formed. That's why the bravest one in the group suddenly remembered some imaginary appointment across town. That's why the loudest one went mute like his throat signed an NDA with terror. They didn't just fear the dark behind you. They feared the fact that the dark obeyed you. Because what sort of person has shadows as subordinates? What sort of person can stand alone and still not be outnumbered? What sort of person can be silent and still dominate the room? You. Only you. You're a paradox wrapped in flesh, a loner with a legion, an orphan with an empire, a ghost with influence, a saint with demons who kneel, a demon with angels who don't flee. You don't collect alliances, you command them, without asking, without forcing, without even realizing the scale of your pull. And when your unseen backup stepped out, they didn't just protect you, they revealed you. Because the truth is, you weren't the underdog. You were the centerpiece the whole time. They were simply too blind, too arrogant, too desperate to feel superior to see the constellation behind you. You think they're done underestimating you? No. They're terrified of doing it again. Terrified because now they know. If this is who appears when you're mildly threatened, then who the hell appears when you're genuinely in danger, or worse, when you're furious? You've crossed into a category beyond alone, beyond strong, beyond dangerous. You're a walking black box, a classified phenomenon, a force with support the world cannot trace, cannot measure, cannot comprehend. They thought you were alone, but you are an entire ecosystem of power, a network of unseen loyalties, a magnet for forces that operate beyond polite society's comprehension. And the next time someone tries you, your backup won't just step out. They'll surround, they'll consume, they'll make the world remember that some people are never alone, because the darkness behind them was never empty. It was theirs. Ah, you really want to walk deeper into this, don't you? Fine. But don't blame me if the walls start listening, because you need to understand something crucial about what happened that day. The moment your unseen backup stepped out of the dark wasn't an arrival. It was an exposure, a leak, a glitch in the veil that hides the truth about who you really are. See, people like you aren't supposed to have crowds. You're supposed to have currents, energy that moves with you, forces that respond to you, ancient loyalties that wake up when your pulse spikes, the kind of allies that don't shake hands. They shake realities, but until now, nobody saw them. And that's why they got cocky. Let's rewind the tape. They laughed at you. They gossiped. They poked. They tested. They thought being alone was your Achilles heel. They didn't know it was your trap. Because you thrive in emptiness, the way predators thrive in forests. Camouflaged, still, deadly. And when they circled you, when they thought they had you cornered, they made a fatal mistake. They believed their numbers mattered, but numbers only matter to mortals, not to someone who walks with shadows that count themselves. The silence around you wasn't weakness, it was loading. It was the universe booting up your reinforcements. It was the dark rewriting the power dynamic line by line. And then, that shift, that heart-stopping, throat-locking, reality-warping shift. The moment the air behind you tightened like something stepped into the atmosphere without passing through a door. That wasn't backup, that was permission, the universe granting authorization for your hidden forces to reveal themselves. And they didn't come out politely. They didn't come out smiling. They didn't come out asking if you needed help. They came out like a verdict, like a sentence, like justice wearing its real face. They stepped forward with that slow, inevitable movement that says, speak their name again and see what happens. and suddenly every loud voice went quiet. Every confident mask cracked. Every enemy's body remembered they had ancestors who warned them what it means to stand in the presence of something not entirely human. Because your backup didn't look mortal, didn't move mortal, didn't breathe mortal. Sure, maybe they looked like people, but the room felt different because what stepped out behind you wasn't shaped by birth. It was shaped by your journey. Your pain sculpted one, your rage sculpted another, your strength sculpted the third, your past lives sculpted the fourth, your unbreakable will sculpted the rest. You're not protected by a group, you're protected by your own evolution. Imagine how horrifying that is for your enemies. They weren't facing one person. They were facing every version of you that survived things they'd die from. And the more they stared, the more they realized something even darker. Your backup didn't come from outside. They came from within. That's why they froze. Because how do you fight someone who doesn't break alone and doesn't fight alone, yet never begs for company? You're a paradox wrapped in a threat wrapped in prophecy. A lone wolf with a pack made of shadows. And get this, your backup didn't step forward to save you. They stepped forward to warn the world. We're here because they've earned us. That's the part everyone misses. Protection isn't given to you. It's aligned with you. You didn't inherit loyalty. You generated it through your scars, through your losses, through your silent nights, through your refusal to collapse when collapse was the logical option. Every time you rebuilt yourself, you created another force that stands behind you. And now you walk with an underground empire that nobody can infiltrate, decode, or imitate. That's why they shut up. That's why they backed up. That's why they suddenly remembered they had somewhere to be. Because the truth is, nobody wants to pick a fight with someone whose backup looks like it crawled out of myth and takes commands without language. You're not alone. You're accompanied by everything you survived. And the next time someone tries to test you, your unseen forces won't step out quietly. They'll step out fully formed, fully awakened, fully aware that the world forgot who you are, and they're ready to remind it. So let them think you're alone. Let them think you're easy to corner. Let them think you're vulnerable. Because the moment they try, the dark behind you will open its eyes again. And this time, they won't run, they'll kneel. You really want to see how deep this goes? Good. Most people get scared long before this point. But no. You lean in. You invite the darkness to finish its sentence. So let's tear the veil all the way off. They thought you were alone because they only counted bodies. They didn't know they were supposed to count omens, silences, shifts in the atmosphere, the way the lights dim a fraction of a second when you walk in, the way energy rearranges itself around you, like even the atoms know they're in the presence of something that chooses form out of convenience, not limitation. See, your enemies are simple. They measure humans with human tools. They measure you with human logic. But the forces behind you, they don't fit in logic. They break it by existing, because your backup isn't just unseen. They're unfiled. They don't show up in photos. They don't show up in records. They don't show up in plans. They don't even show up in nightmares unless the dreamer is prepared to go insane. What stepped out of the dark that day wasn't a friend group. It wasn't a squad. It wasn't a team. It was an echo of everything that ever tried to destroy you and failed. Your backup isn't shaped like protection. It's shaped like revenge waiting for permission. It's shaped like trauma that learned how to fight back. It's shaped like every time you didn't die when someone needed you gone. And that's why they shut up. Because the backup they saw wasn't just behind you. It was inside you, projected outward, made visible by pressure. If they'd looked closely, they would have noticed the terrifying truth. Your backup looked like you, but darker, sharper, more distilled, more honest. Versions of you that don't smile, versions that don't negotiate, versions that don't wait, versions that don't care how the world sees them, versions that have names only the dark can pronounce. They stepped out not because you needed them, but because you deserved them. That's what terrifies your enemies the most. Not that you're protected, but that you've earned your protection in ways they'll never understand. Because to earn forces like that, you have to survive things that crush normal people. You have to keep going when every exit closes. You have to step into the fire alone and walk out with new shadows following you. That's why the world treats you differently now. Not because of what you did, but because of what showed up when you finally stood still long enough for truth to surface. Let's go even deeper. Did you notice how the room felt when they emerged? How suddenly the space around you expanded even though nobody moved? How time felt like it skipped a frame? That's not imagination. That's physics bending under pressure. That's reality adjusting to accommodate the weight of what was entering. Your unseen backup doesn't obey human space-time. They exist in the margin between each second. They step out when your pulse hits the exact frequency that resonates with survival instincts older than history. You are connected to something ancient, something that remembers you from before you were born. That's why they show up, not because you call, but because they recognize their own. Your enemies don't understand this. They think power is loud. They think power is visible. They think power is numbers. But your power is the quiet that turns violent when provoked. Your power is the shadow that grows arms when you're threatened. Your power is the dark that doesn't swallow you. It forms around you. You're not protected. You are mirrored by forces that reflect your strength in forms the world can't comprehend. You're not alone. You're accompanied by the consequences of your evolution. And let me tell you the part that scares them the most. Your backup didn't show their full size. They only showed the portion necessary to silence everyone. A sample, a preview, a warning. If they ever stepped out in full force, civilizations would feel it. Not people, civilizations. Because what walks behind you is not bound to your lifetime. It's bound to your lineage, your transformation, your refusal to collapse. That's why the world watches you differently now. Not because they respect you, because they fear what stands behind you if they don't. And here's the final twist. Your unseen backup didn't choose you. You became the kind of person they choose. You earned every shadow, every silent force, every presence that waits for you to blink. You're not alone, not now, not ever. Because the dark behind you is not empty. It's armed. And the next time anyone tries to test you, they won't just shut up. They'll step back, bow their head, and pray those shadows stay where they are.